President Donald Trump expected to be in Detroit today, and it comes as tensions are high and questions remain.
So let's break it all down for you. ICE protests are continuing, and visuals are remembering a mother in Minnesota who was shot and killed by an immigration officer. The Trump administration is also weighing its options as anti-government protests are appearing to get worse in Iran. The president has already threatened military action there.
It was also just last week the U.S. captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, and now he's arraigned on federal charges. Not only is the future uncertain in that country, the Trump administration has big plans to try and get energy companies to invest in Venezuela, although they seem to be balking a little bit, at least some of them. In the backdrop of all these major headlines, the president's stop here in the city is an important one.
It certainly is. He's scheduled to speak in front of the Detroit Economic Club. He'll also visit Ford's Rouge Center this afternoon. Shante Passmore is following his visit. Good morning, everyone. We'll be here at the Sanborn Theater where the president is expected to take the stage. The last time he was in Michigan was actually last April, highlighting his first 100 days in office of his second term, specifically in Macomb County. And while we're still waiting to learn the exact details of what he plans to talk about, a recent social media post or any sort of indication, perhaps his domestic policies will be taking center stage. Recently, he's been touting how gas across most of the U.S. is below $3, including right here in Michigan. In fact, AAA reporting this morning that for regular unleaded gas, we were talking about $2.89. He's also expected to visit Ford's Rouge Center in Dearborn, which of course manufactures the F-150. But leading up to his visit today, we are hearing that critics plan to send their own message to the president. So later this morning, there's actually going to be a who's who of clergy, advocates, elected officials demanding that city leadership call for an end of all ICE-related activities. In fact, we are also hearing that there may be some plans in the works to perhaps pack out today's city council meeting. And meanwhile, we are also learning of a planned protest nearby Motor City Casino, where again the president plans to speak later today. We're in Detroit. Shante Passmore, Local 4. All right, Shante, thank you. So here's the rundown of what to expect over on clickondetroit.com and right here on Local 4 Plus. The president will speak at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then prior to that, we're going to be streaming the Detroit Economic Club's forum on the Michigan economy with this panel of speakers at 12:30 right here on Local 4 Plus. Clickondetroit.com.
Speaking of the DEC, that might be the perfect choice for the president because according to a new WDIV Detroit News poll, economics is exactly what the president needs to focus on right now. The first year of President Donald Trump's second term has certainly been a roller coaster of policies and actions. But if you ask likely voters in Michigan, a state he's won twice and lost once, they hold him in about the same regard. 44.5% approve of the job he's doing, while 52.5% disapprove, a number that is consistent going back to his first term. But the more dedicated voters reveal a bigger gap, according to pollster Richard Juba of Glenn Gariff Group.
When you look at definite voters, that's 75% of voters who are definitely voting, and suddenly his job approval is 40 to 56.
The president has consistently blamed Joe Biden for the higher prices and inflation, but this poll asked a direct question. Have Trump's policies made the economy stronger or weaker? The answer, 38% stronger, 48% weaker. 64% also say they're paying more for everyday things like health insurance. 44% say they're paying more. Electricity, 57% are paying more, but by far the vast majority are paying more for food and groceries.
Overall, 80% of voters say they are paying more for groceries this year than they were a year ago. 63% of them are saying they're paying a lot more than they were a year ago. This is the overriding issue with the voters right now, and they're really angry about it.
And all of those numbers, by the way, get worse for the president if you ask independent voters.
Let's be really clear. In Michigan, it's the center that makes the decision. It's the independents. And right now, those independents are really angry about costs.
That's only a piece of the new WDIV Detroit News poll. Later today at 5 p.m., we're going to dive into the race for governor here in Michigan as the field narrowed officially on Monday when Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist withdrew his name for that seat and instead will run for Secretary of State. Richard Juba weighed in on that move.
Jocelyn Benson's name ID was significantly higher, and it has been over the course of the last year. She is a much better positioned candidate to win the Democratic nomination. I think the lieutenant governor understood that and saw that, and frankly, it's probably one of the smartest political decisions I've seen in the last year. For him to understand he wasn't going to win this nomination. Jocelyn Benson is going to win the Democratic nomination.
Again, we're going to have a closer look at the governor's race tonight at 5.